to the Sacred Priestess podcast, where I help beautiful awakening women activate their sacred feminine wisdom and find clarity, confidence, and connection in their spiritual healing journey. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are returning, I appreciate you and thank you so much for being here and enjoying the podcast. As today we talk about healing and the priestess path. Why I am so passionate about teaching the priestess path, mystery school teachings, because of how it truly, truly helps not only myself as I walk my journey, but other women really embrace and love on their healing as it comes up, because we are still moving through that time of awakening and healing all of our things. And so today I just wanted to really talk about how this path helps us so well in that, how it does help to bring more ease and flow into the journey. Because as we walk on our path of awakening and our healing, we are releasing trauma, past life karma drama. We are breaking down beliefs and breaking free from ancestral ties. We're navigating the 3D fallout of this, basically holy war that we are in, which is against the sacred feminine. It is against goddess and the suppression of goddess and divine feminine. That's what this whole thing is really about. So, how does the priestess path and activating the sacred feminine help us with, our healing and the journey that we are on? And it kind of helps twofold. Like I said, we are in a holy war. So as we are activating and moving into the path of the priestess, really embracing the sacred feminine within us and embracing goddess energy, we are helping to anchor that onto the planet. We are helping, restore ancient timelines, to bring the feminine back into human consciousness, bring the goddess back. Because at the end of the day, this earth was designed as a sacred feminine planet. We are meant to be led by matriarchy. And I'm not saying that to be awful to the patriarchy. That's not what this is about. It's not men versus women. It's not masculine versus feminine. It's not patriarchy versus matriarchy. But this is the templating of this planet. This is the organic templating was sacred feminine. It's why back in Lemuria, we followed the 13 moons and the 13-month cycle. It's why we were so intuitive and open and were so in touch with different realms, with different beings from different realms. It was, how we were led through counsel. So not only is stepping into the priestess path helping us to heal the earth and heal human consciousness, obviously it also helps us as we are, like I said before, working with the things that are coming up for us, with our personal healing, with our past life trauma, with our this life trauma, breaking free from ancestral patterning, the limiting beliefs that are breaking down. It helps us with all of these things too. So that is what we are going to move into today. And the priestess path is really about embodying the sacred feminine in daily life. And I think spirituality up until now, a lot of the time, and I know I've talked about this before, so forgive me if I hear very often, but old school spirituality, what I was brought up in and sort of what I learned from was that, you spiritualed over here and real lifed over here, so you went to a meditation to do this. And while you were in meditation, everything was great. And then you went back into real life and everything fell apart. So the priestess path and embodying this sacred feminine wisdom is about embodying stuff into daily life. It's about living with it and being of it, and it being a part of your structure and your beingness, rather than it being separate. So it's a consistency. It's not just going and being spiritual and feeling good while you're doing a yoga class or a meditation class or you're in circle. It's something that you bring into your everyday life to meet everything as it is happening and as it is coming up. So in the Sacred Priestess Mystery School, we work with 6 goddesses, and we also work with the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, who bring through what I've come to call the 7 keys of the priestess path. And these keys have been channeled through to me by these goddesses. This isn't a course that I've done somewhere else and then I'm regurgitating it. They've come to me and we've worked together to bring through these 7 keys to guide us in the Sacred Priestess Mystery School. And a lot of what we talk about when we talk about the path of the rose, and Venus, the story of Inyana, you'll hear throughout all mystery schools. But the wonderful thing about this path is that with different mystery schools, you're going to be picking up different goddess energy. And so, it's finding the right path, the right goddesses that work with you and work for you and that you feel drawn to. But yeah, so within the Sacred Priestess Mystery School, we work with the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. We work with Goddess Sophia, Isis, Athena, Mary Magdalene, Aphrodite, and Mother Mary. And so, yeah, that's who I'm going to mention a little bit today as we talk about the ways that the priestess path helps you heal. But today, as these 4 things came through, I also decided to pick 4 cards. I have created my own deck, the Sacred Priestess Oracle, which I'm so excited about. It's still in prototype stage. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, I will show you the cards. So that you can see what they look like, and hopefully they will be available after the middle of the year, although the middle of the year is creeping up quickly and I'm still getting the book done. But yeah, so I will show you those today, and I have pulled them through to just give a little bit of extra insight, and I'll let you know who brought those messages through as we go on our merry way. But let's get to it, you guys. Let's get to it. So these are 4 of the things that I wanted to bring through to sort of discuss how the priestess path, how mystery school teachings, how stepping into sacred feminine energy really helps us with our healing. Because like I said, it is a pretty full-on time still. We've still got a few years to go before things start kind of not relaxing, but kind of teetering out a little bit. And so, we want to meet that with as much love and compassion as we can. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So obviously the first thing that the priestess path does for us in our healing is connect us to that sacred feminine. So it brings us compassion, it brings us nurturing energy, it brings us love, deep connection to our intuition. It brings us that grounding into the earth. When we're healing and we have a lot of emotional chaos coming up, grounding is so important. And I think in the spiritual community, we want to go straight for the upper chakras, right? We want to go straight to guides, angels, higher self, help me out, help me heal this stuff. When a lot of the time what we really need is to really deeply ground into our body, deeply ground into the earth. And so it brings us that connection to that too. It's about that ancient feminine wisdom, and we were so connected to the planet. And I think, and I've talked about this before too, that the issue with this awakening, one of the biggest problems that we've had is this 3D, 5D narrative, and that our humanness is wrong and the 3D sucks. The 3D is, earth connection is part of that. I mean, it's not, okay. So the 3D is our physical reality and it's where we're living. The second dimension is nature and the earth, and the first dimension is that real core of the earth. And I think when we're saying that 3D is bad, we're kind of chopping off those last 3 dimensions, right? The third, the second, and the first dimensions. And so really connecting into sacred feminine wisdom, into that womb center, we are connecting down through into the earth, into the crystalline core of the earth. And we really do need that grounding when we're being caught up in the emotional chaos that healing brings. So that's what the sacred feminine brings through to us, and what the priestess path brings through to us. And the card that I pulled through for this, funnily enough, I wrote all this first, then I picked the cards, and it's so funny. Well, not funny or coincidental. It's divine how these things come through. And the card that came through was nurture. And this is brought through by beautiful Mother Mary. And basically this card just talks about how, healing cracks us open. And for those of you who can't see the card, it's a cracked open desert floor with a beautiful blue rose coming out through the crusty earth. And so when we're in our healing, it really does break so much down, and it leaves us feeling kind of empty sometimes. And I mean, I know I've been through this, and especially in my initial awakening, you feel like there's just nothing left of you sometimes. There's been so much come up, and you're going so deep into a belief or a trauma rising to the surface that you feel like crusty, musty, and dusty inside, right? Like everything's been cracked open, and connecting into the divine feminine, into this beautiful mother energy of compassion and nurturing and love and empathy, allows, for when this has happened, for that beauty to rise to the surface, for that beauty to bloom after all this has happened, and to hold ourselves in that, right? Because not only is that cracking open beautiful, so is what emerges on the other side. And I think the sacred feminine that the priestess path brings really allows us to feel that. It allows us to feel that, like I just said, that compassion, that deep connection, that love through to us. And we feel that when we're connecting into the earth. We feel that love, that support that she brings us with her energy. So, and also, of course, that sacred feminine wisdom of ancestry, of that connection to Lemuria, to Mu, to Atlantis when we lived in this way. And it brings us that beautiful connection to Goddess Sophia, to Mother God. So that is the first thing. So connecting us, the priestess path connects us into our sacred feminine and to the sacred feminine of the planet and the stars. So the second thing that came through as we are talking about how the priestess path helps us and supports us in our healing is that it reconnects us to our inner authority. And this is one of the biggest things that this awakening, that the healing that we're doing is bringing through to us and forward for us, is that inner authority, sovereignty, standing true to our power, trusting our intuition, allowing us to stand firm in our beliefs and use our voice and all of those things. And so, as our healing comes up, or let's not use this one in healing, as we're awakening, there are going to be situations that come to us, those challenges, well, I suppose, that do spark healing, but the challenges that come to us that we face, and especially, what's happening at the moment. So just in case you're listening to this podcast a year from now, we are in March of 2026, and there's a lot going on in Australia right now and across the world. And it allows us to stand sovereign in this and to use our voice in these times of uncertainty, and to not back down, and to go, okay, well, where's my line in this as the world is healing, as the world is awakening, and as I'm awakening to this. And, this will bring up healing. This stuff does bring up healing, because it makes you see where your fears are and what's coming up for you in that. So, the support that we need in this space is to really trust the process. And the more that we're standing in our authority, the more that we're open to that intuition and to standing firm in our power, the more that we can really honor the process of our healing, the more that we can see what it is that it's coming up for, what it's bringing up for us, and really hold firm in that. And it also allows us to just honor what we need during this process. When we're in our inner authority, we're standing in our power. When we have healing coming up, it allows us to go, okay, well, I need space right now. And so I'm going to set these boundaries, and I need everyone to give me space. It allows us to rest, cry, walk in nature, dance it out, whatever it is. We're honoring that process, and like I said, standing firm to set those boundaries to the people around us of, this is what I need while I'm going through this. And the card that came through with this was from Mary Magdalene, and the card is integrity. And, that's what this is about. It's like, where are my boundaries? Where's my line? Where am I willing to go to before enough is enough? But also, where am I not standing in integrity? And I think when you have your inner authority, you are constantly in integrity. If there's something that you don't believe in, if there's something that doesn't feel right with you, you're standing true to that. And so, Mary Magdalene really brings through that energy of, standing firm in your power. So, walking in this priestess path reconnects us to that inner authority to help us as we heal and move through our awakening. So, excuse me as I turn my pages. The next thing is that the priestess path helps us in our healing by guiding us in and honoring our emotions. So Aphrodite brings through a lot of work in the priestess initiation with this, because she is our direct link to Venus. She is our link to the teachings of the rose, to Inyana, and that walking through shadow and light and honoring the process emotionally and honoring, what comes through on all levels and layers of our healing. And she reminds us that this journey is actually really, really beautiful. And she helps us to hold love and compassion in honoring the shadow, honoring the void. So honoring just that space of being able to sit in your discomfort as healing comes up, as trauma comes to the surface, as past life and ancestral ties are released. Just really allowing yourself to sit in that discomfort, loving on yourself in this, giving yourself compassion, your healing compassion, the past, giving the past and the people involved love and compassion, and really allowing yourself the space to integrate what is going on. And this is just something so beautiful about, this path, and especially what Aphrodite brings through. I absolutely love working with her in the round that we're in at the moment of the Sacred Priestess initiation. We're working with her next week, and I can't wait. I'm so excited because I just love her energy and I love bringing her teachings through. So it allows us to honor our emotions in what we're going through. And like I said, there's so many levels and layers to healing, and following the path of the rose, and which is again through Venus, through Aphrodite, it allows us to see our journey with love and the beauty in all of that journey, and allows us to just really flow through it and be at one with it, be at peace with it, and understand that it's just a part of why we're here. It's a part of what we're going through. And if we do want to be stepping into the new earth timeline and really holding that, this is what we need to be doing. We want to be moving with this love and compassion towards self. And so the card that came through with this was actually from Goddess Isis. And the card is balance. And the reason that that's came through is just to remind us that light is not better than shadow. Shadow is not better than light, that they are both of equal beauty and of equal importance as we move on our journey. So, it's having that balance between shadow and light, understanding the depth of our shadow, understanding the magnificence of our light, and that they are both equal, they are both important, they are both beautiful polarities, and we need that polarity. Everything within our universe exists with polarity, and we're not here to completely get rid of our shadow and dismantle it. We're there to notice it and to witness it and to hold it in as much love as we do the light. So that's a beautiful message that comes through there from Goddess Isis, and we do love and thank and honor Aphrodite as well for bringing this through to us today. And so the last thing I just want to chat about, as of why the priestess path and the mystery school teachings are so great in helping us with our healing, is that it brings direction. It brings a purpose to our journey. And it's like, I liken it to, if you have been or may still be Catholic or Christian, when people are in times of hardship, they turn to verses of the Bible. They turn to chapters of the Bible that will help them to sort of dismantle and just look at and honor what they're going through. And that's what the priestess path is. And like I said, in the mystery school with these 7 keys, that's what they do. That's what they are. When we're going through something, we can turn to these goddesses, turn to their key teachings and pull those bits out to meet us where we are. And that's why I'm saying, it's about embodying and using these keys and bringing this energy in every day. So yeah, it's about direction. It brings you a purpose. It's a process, a roadmap for your healing and your awakening. And it really does give us a safe place to land, a safe place to turn, a sisterhood to turn to as well, right? When we're all working and walking in this priestess path and in these teachings together, we know that there are people there who understand us, who get it, who can maybe point us in the right direction if we're feeling lost. So it also brings us that beautiful sisterhood. So to turn to guidance. And the card that came through with this was again from Mary Magdalene, and that was devotion, funnily enough. So devotion is the card that came through, and that's what the priestess path is. It's a devotion. It's a devotion to the sacred feminine within, and really it's a devotion to you, right? It's a devotion to yourself, to honoring your own sacred feminine, to honoring your own journey, to honoring your healing, your emotions, to where you're at, to what you're going through, as well as honoring goddess energy from Goddess Sophia, Mother God, honoring the earth. It's a devotion to all of those things, to the sacred feminine. And like I said, this is where we're supposed to be. This is Mu, Lemuria, Atlantis. We honored and were devoted to the sacred feminine. And that's what we're bringing back onto the planet. But it starts with self. Everything starts with you first. The devotion to you, the devotion to your healing, to your journey, to what it is that you need. And again, I think that's why, it came through today about the inner authority. The more that you connect into your sacred feminine as you heal and you honor yourself in everything that's going on for you, you stand more in your authority. You have that sovereignty, that integrity. You are embodying, like Athena brings through to us, the sacred feminine warrior. You're standing in that with a strong spine and a strong energy to move through what it is that you're going through, to set those boundaries and to really have the courage to let go of what is no longer working for you. Because I think a lot of the time that's where we get stuck in our healing. It's not because we're necessarily worried about what's coming up, but it's on the other side, being worried about what it is that we're actually letting go of. And because in some situations, that's a person, it's family, it's friends, it's jobs that we've been in for 20 years that no longer align with us, where we've had this safety and this security. So, having that sacred warrior energy and embracing that on a daily basis, to have the courage to really do what needs to be done. So the priestess path does bring through some beautiful teachings, some beautiful keys to help us on our healing. And if this is something that's really hitting home for you and something that you're really wanting to embrace and start to look into, I do invite you to join the priority waitlist for the Sacred Priestess Initiation, where we work with these keys and we learn how to embody them, and we have beautiful meditations and connections with these goddesses. So yeah, I'll put the priority waitlist below. I also do, in a couple of weeks' time, have a free circle with Mary Magdalene coming up, where we do talk a little bit more about the mystery school teachings and what that entails. I don't have the link for that yet. That will be available on Monday, but do join me on Instagram or in the Facebook group. I'll pop those links below too, so that you will know when that is coming up. And thanks again so much for listening. Please follow, like, subscribe, all of the things, share. Don't forget to comment if this has activated something within you, or if you have any questions about anything, or if you just want to say hello, you can do that too. But yeah, thank you so, so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. I really do love this work, and I'm so excited actually about the amount of sacred feminine that is being activated on this planet, the amount of women who are stepping into this work and stepping into their power, because this is what is really going to help bring this holy war to an end, bring the new earth timeline really into effect. And so yeah, I honor you and I honor your journey. I honor everything it is that you are doing within your awakening, because I know how hard it is. I know, like, healing doesn't end, and you think you've done some great work on something, and then 2 weeks later it comes back up to the surface again, or 6 months later, and it's like, oh goodness. But yeah, that's why these teachings are so important, and why the sisterhood is so important. So anywho, thank you so much for being here. I will see you again next week. Bye.